everyone. My name is Tiana.
And my name is Matthew.
And we are the Galactic Hot Dogs. Take a guess at what we are going to be discussing this year for Science Fair.
This is a What Am I joke.
I produce ash, but I'm not a bonfire.
I can throw rocks great distances, but I'm not a slingshot.
I am often a mountain, but I'm not in the Himalayas.
I have a crater, but I'm not the moon.
I erupt, but I'm not someone with a bad temper.
What am I?
Yes, this year for Science Fair, we are going to discuss volcanoes.
And we're going to try and have a blast with it. So hang on, you are going to laugh at this.
First, we are going to do a quick review of how our Earth is made. Then we will discuss volcanoes, who studies them, and why.
Then we'll have an explosive demonstration at the end of this event for presentation. So sit right down and let's get this project flowing. So, do scientists literally travel to the center of our Earth in cool machines like this?
No, scientists cannot literally travel to the center of our Earth. The secrets buried inside our planet are revealed by recording and studying things called seismic waves. This study is done by science called seismologists. Events like earthquakes, explosions, and the movement of our oceans cause two types of seismic waves. A shear wave, which won't travel through liquid, and a pressure wave, which moves through both liquid and solids. These waves show that the Earth is made from 5 layers: the inner and outer core, the lower and upper mantle, and the crust. And we will discuss today is the upper mantle and the crust, because these are the 2 layers that affect volcanoes. The upper mantle is in a liquid solid state that is made of iron, oxygen, silicon, magnesium, and aluminum. It is about 400 kilometers thick.
That's like going from Fort Saskatchewan to Fort McMurray.
Right, and the temperature of the upper mantle ranges from 1,400 to 3,000 degrees Celsius. The crust, which is a layer we live and walk on, is a solid.
Thankfully,
there are 2 kinds of crusts that make up our Earth.
Stuffed crust and deep dish, right?
No. No. There is the oceanic crust that is made of iron, oxygen, silicon, magnesium, and aluminum. There is also the continental crust that is made up of granite, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. The Earth's surface is covered by its thinnest layer, the crust. Land is made of continental crust, which is 8 kilometers to 70 kilometers thick, and made mostly from a rock called granite. The layer beneath the ocean bed is made of oceanic crust, which is about 8 kilometers thick, and made mainly from a rock called basalt. The temperature of the crust is around 22 degrees Celsius.
So let's talk about what is a volcano and how they are formed.
Sure. First, the word volcano comes from the Roman fire god named Vulcan. And the top part of the upper mantle is made of very hot melted rock called magma. Magma is molten or liquid rock that is under the Earth's surface. Above that is the Earth's crust, which is broken in huge pieces of rock called plates. These plates float very slowly on the mantle. We're talking just a couple of centimeters a year. A volcano is formed when the pressure in the magma mantle cannot be contained anymore. Hot magma, ash, and gases escape from the openings or vents in the Earth's surface. After a number of eruptions, a volcano is formed. Each time a volcano erupts, it adds a layer of lava to the previous eruption layers. This causes the mountain or volcano to grow in size each time it erupts. Lava is molten or liquid rock that is above the Earth's surface.
So, why do volcanoes erupt?
Volcanoes are a natural way for the Earth to let out some of the pressure that it builds up inside. Under our Earth's crust lies the mantle, which is in a liquid solid state. This is where the magma comes from. With the right conditions, like extreme pressure, change in heat, and tectonic activity, the magma can rise up to a magma chamber. A magma chamber is a shallow storage for molten rock that is 1 to 10 kilometers underground. This chamber is the immediate origin of material ejected in many volcanic eruptions. Magma enters the chamber from an unknown location and depth. The volcano erupts through the Earth's crust, causing a volcanic eruption.
An example of this is when you shake up a soda pop.
What happens when you open it?
Boom! Soda everywhere.
Why?
Because gas is dissolved in the soda kept under pressure. When you open the bottle, the pressure is released and gas bubbles rush out of the bottle, pushing the soda out with it.
Volcanic eruptions work in pretty much the same way. Nobody picks up the volcano and shakes it, but the process still depends on pressure built up inside a liquid.
How often do they explode?
Some volcanoes erupt very often, and some, like Kilauea, almost never stop. On the other hand, some volcanoes are inactive for very long periods of time between eruptions. For example, Mount St. Helens erupted in the late 1800s, and again in 1980.
What does the inside of an active volcano look like?
The inside of a volcano has fluorescent orange and yellow magma that bubbles and spits about. Inside of a volcano in Hawaii, called Kilauea, magma can reach temperatures of 2,120 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the United States Geological Survey. That is hot enough to melt cast iron.
What does the inside of an inactive volcano look like?
In Iceland, Trínucagígur has been dormant for 4,000 years. The inside of the chamber could be compared to a cavernous cathedral dome with a spectacular arrays of colors. Tourists are able to descend 120 meters into this ancient chasm using a cable lift, passing into the volcano through the 4x4 meter opening in its summit. The full magma chamber is equivalent in height to 3 versions of the Statue of Liberty stacked one on top of the other.
Where are volcanoes located?
There are about 500 active volcanoes on Earth. They can be found in many different places on our planet. However, there is an area where about 75% of all volcanoes can be found. This area is called the Pacific Ocean, and it's called the Ring of Fire. This ring is about 25,000 miles long. All of these volcanoes in this one area is the reason that about 90% of all earthquakes happen along this Ring of Fire. This ring of volcanoes resembles a horseshoe. At the bottom of the horseshoe is Antarctica. Here there are several active and inactive volcanoes that close the ring.
What is the smallest active volcano on Earth?
The world's smallest active volcano is called Taal and is located near the city of Tagaytay in the Philippines. It is 1,660 feet high, which is about 200 feet shorter than the CN Tower. The last time Taal erupted was in 1977.
What is the largest active volcano on Earth?
The largest active volcano on Earth is called Mauna Loa in Hawaii. This huge volcano is somewhat shaped like a warrior shield. The size of Mauna Loa is shown in red on the map of Alberta. Mauna Loa is more than 30,000 feet tall, meaning it is slightly taller than Mount Everest. The difference is that half of Mauna Loa is underwater. Mauna Loa has erupted 33 times since 1843.
What is the closest active volcano to Edmonton?
Well, Mount Cleveland is about 3,600 kilometers away from Edmonton, off the coast of Alaska. The most recent significant period of eruption began in February 2001 and produced 3 explosive events that generated ash clouds as high as 39,000 feet above sea level. The latest activity on Cleveland was an explosion that occurred at 7:17 p.m., May 16, 2017.
What good and bad do volcanoes do?
Well, for the bad, there's pyroclastic flows. Those are a mixture of hot ash and gases. Death can occur if someone is caught in it, but these are fast-moving at 100 to 200 kilometers an hour. If a volcano is expected to erupt and it has a tendency to release pyroclastic flows, an evacuation is required. Also, the gases and ash are not good for aircraft engines, and lava from the eruption can flow down and destroy houses, vehicles, or anything in its path. Now for the good. Volcanoes provide great scenery and tourist attractions, and rich soils that are great for farming. Some plant types that thrive near volcanic eruption sites include coffee, grapevines, and moss. Also, the new rich plant life growth attracts many insects and animals to the area, supporting life on many layers. And Mateo birds lay their eggs in the soil or sand near the volcano to help hatch their eggs. When the eggs hatch, the chicks claw their way up to the surface.
Who studies volcanoes?
A volcanologist is a geologist, a person who studies the earth, that studies volcanoes. They try to understand how and why volcanoes erupt, how they can predict eruptions, and the impacts of volcanoes of history on the earth, and how they affect humans and our environment.
What can we and scientists learn about volcanoes?
Well, one of the main jobs of a volcanologist does is trying to predict when a volcano will erupt next. Some volcanologists study how a volcano changes the earth. They study the seismicity, or the vibrations of the earth during an eruption, gravity, and magnetics. Other volcanologists choose to study how the shape of the earth changes after an eruption. The Hawaiian Islands are constantly growing due to volcanic eruptions. Other things that volcanologists study are the products of volcanic eruptions, such as the gases.
What is the safe distance to be away from an erupting volcano?
The distance you have to evacuate depends entirely on what kind of eruption is going on. For example, Pinatubo, one of the largest recent eruptions, sent pyroclastic flows at least 18 kilometers down its flanks, and ash fell as far as 25 kilometers away from the volcano. On the other hand, the current eruption at Ruapehu is relatively small. In fact, there were skiers up on the slopes when the eruptions commenced, and even though they were only 1 to 2 kilometers away from the vent, they managed to escape. The volcanologists routinely go up on higher slopes of Ruapehu during these ongoing eruptions to collect ash and take photographs. Now, here's that explosive demonstration that we promised you. What is extra cool about this demonstration is that we can eat it after. The volcano is made of Rice Krispies, the lava is Jell-O mix, and the gingerbread men and houses are made from gingerbread.
So, this is what happens when you don't heed the warning of a volcano that is about to erupt. Watch and learn.
Oh, the government is so silly. Yeah, Mount Crispy hasn't erupted in 100 years.
Wanna go to the evening fire? Sure. Hey Phil. Hey. Hey Bill. Hey. Hey guys, what are you doing here?
Roasting marshmallows.
Pass me some chocolate.
Here.
Thanks.
Oh, it's such a peaceful evening.
Oh no! It's erupting!
Ah, it's too late!
No! Ah! This video has no effect! I know! I feel like it! Ah! 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 Ah!
and they all died.